Hello, my wonderful Simplex using friends, and how are you today? I hope that all is well in your part of the world and that you are doing as best as you can in these crazy times. Now, I am back out on a friend's croft that I've been before, the one that's got the old trackway that's full of the iron, and the lower field has been topped. You can see behind me, hooray! Somebody's been out with the tractor and they have cut the field so I have access to it. So yippee, you can see behind me the glorious settings I've got to detect in today. I'm so happy. I am trying something new. I am trying Terry Knipshield's technique. Now, Terry is somebody that I have shared his videos. He has a fantastic pinpointing technique using the, I forget what he calls it, basically non-motion detecting versus your traditional swing detecting, and the way that the pinpointer works with conductive materials versus magnetic ferrous materials. I've shared the link for that video. Go and watch it. It's fantastic. But in my discussions with Terry, turns out that Terry doesn't actually have his iron, he doesn't have everything open. He notches out the first 3 settings on his Simplex, which is 0 to 15. And I said, well, how do you know if it's iron? Do you just Terry technique everything? And he said, yes, and it will eliminate Can's law, it will eliminate your 71-pound coin big aluminium can bottoms, it will take care of big iron. So if you get a signal, you go over it with the pinpointing technique where you pinpoint the center, then you come back 6 inches or outside the signal, turn your pinpointer on and then come straight at it. And if it doesn't react until the coil is over the target, then it's non-ferrous. If it reacts before the coil is over the target, it is ferrous and or aluminium, and you don't want it. So I thought, okay, well, I'll give this a go. I will turn off my iron. So I have notched out on my Simplex, I have notched out the first 3 bars, which is 0 to 15. So I am not hearing the iron grunts at 0.4. And those of you that watch this channel will know that's quite unusual for me. But I have done that. I have notched out 0 to 15. And I have been going around the field and I have been listening. It's been very quiet. I have it on level 7 sensitivity in field. There's a little bit of popping in the background, just a very slight threshold I'm hearing, but it's nothing that's overwhelming. I'm not getting the big grunts. I've dug 3 signals so far. One was an absolute solid 69, and that turned out to be a musket ball. I'll put a photo in here. I've also found a fence staple, which was very jumpy and I wasn't sure about, but I dug it to see what it was. And I have found a piece of foil, which again was the same. Now I have located another one of those foil, possibly irony type signals. So I'm going to take you over and let you listen to it and hear what I'm hearing. And then we'll dig it and we'll see what it is. And then what I'll do is I'll let you have a little here of me walking in the field and what it's sounding like with that iron off. And then when I find another target that's an actual target, I will, well, not an actual target, a desirable target, I will do the Terry technique and show you how it works out. So first things first, I'll get you swung round. We'll go and find this one that I've got that's jumpy. I'll let you listen to it and then we will dig it up and see what we've got. So first things first, I want to show you this. Actually, I have fibbed to you. I did not notch out 0 to 15. I have notched out 0 to 10. You will see that up here. I was a bit too frightened to notch out 0 to 15 because I'm a bit of a wimp. Sorry, Terry. But I am trying this and I will practice it. As you can see, I have full bars of sensitivity on and I am on field. Now, for those of you that watched the video about setting up your Simplex and what everything means, I skipped over the setting that was notching out. So that is this one. Now, if you wanted to notch something out, what you do is you use these 2 plus and minus, the left and right arrows to move this little icon over. Now, if you're getting a signal, the black box will already be on it. But it will start there, and you just slide the arrow over until it's underneath, or slide the little line under, underneath the box that you want, and then you press the OK button, and that basically notches it out. It'll then turn black. If you want it to go back, you'd go back to that setting, you'd left or right over till the little line was underneath the black box, and then you'd press the OK again, and that will open it back up again. But as you can see here, I have blocked out these two, so 0 to 10 I am not hearing, which means there's no iron grunt, full sensitivity, field, and ground balanced. So this is the signal that I came over. I've even cleared it a bit more to try and get as close to it as I possibly can. Let me make sure that spade is not setting it off. Okay. Now, when I pinpoint it, that's about as good as I can do, is right there. And I let go, and I come back out here. I put the pinpointer on. It's before I get to it. Now, that should be aluminium or iron. So let's have a dig up just to prove the point, and then see what this rubbish is, and then we'll go on and we'll find a decent signal. Okay, so I am glad that I dug this, because it actually turns out to be a bullet casing rather than anything iron. I'm not sure why. I think maybe it was sounding off before I got to the center of the target, because it was long, and maybe I was coming at it this way, so I was before what I thought was the target, because it's not iron. It's definitely copper alloy. It was quite deep. It was down in the hole, down at the bottom there. So with the hory knife, it's so a good 8 inches down or so. 8 inches down. So I will take advice from Terry, and I'll put in here why that didn't work, or what I was doing kind of wrong on there, so you know. And we'll keep exploring this technique, and we'll keep figuring it out. Now, if I'd had the iron on, that wouldn't have grunted, so I would have possibly dug it, but the numbers it was coming up were very much like aluminium, so I am going to check that there is nothing else in this hole. But if there is, I'll come back to you, and if not, then what I'll do is I'll get to recording with me walking along, and you can hear how quiet the field sounds with 0 to 10 notched out, and what this sounds like when you use the technique that Terry has come up with. Aha, my friends, we have the answer. Look, what else was hiding in the hole? Iron. Iron was hiding in the hole. So that is why we were getting that strange signal. We were getting sort of a more solid one off to the side. So that bullet was in here, and the iron was over here, and that was what was confusing us. So maybe on these weird ones, it's worth digging just to see what they are. I'll clarify with Terry if he can come up with anything more, because that was a question I did have myself of, if you had iron near to something, was it not going to react on the iron and you might miss the close by signal? And I'm not sure how to discriminate that out or get around that, but at least that explains why this signal was a little bit stronger to one side. But when we pinpointed it and when we did the technique, it definitely sounded before we got to it, and that's because there was iron in the hole as well as deeply buried copper alloy bullet. So interesting, and we're all learning all the time. That's why I'm doing this, and I wanted to film this, because I'm learning this, and you know, if I'm making mistakes, it might be the same mistakes you make, so let's figure it out together. Anyway, I'm going to fill in my hole. I will check to make sure there's nothing else in there. Fill in the hole, and then I'll let you hear what it sounds like as I'm walking along. Okay, so we're ground balanced. It ground balanced in at 56. She's still a little chattery, but what I'm going to do is I've been sort of following a line. I've got my things up there, that blue bag, so I've just sort of been going back and forth along. There's a fence line just there. So what I've been doing is just going back and forth along it to try and cover as much ground as possible. So that's the spade. We don't want to detect that. So I'll get you down here. Okay. That's a signal that sounds like I need to clean up the grass and see what I can come up with on that. So let me just mark that. And then let's have another little walkie with you listening. I've got it on field because I want the depth, but also because the topping of this field has meant that the grass isn't terribly short. So I'm still having to keep the detector quite a ways up above where the grass is. See, that's down on the grass, and I'm having to keep it up here. So I want the extra depth in. Well, that's something else there that I will check. This is actually getting a bit more populous now because I only had 3 signals on about my first 4 passes. So I'm getting a few more sounds now as I'm going along to check. Trying to go nice and slow because this is field. You want to give the machine time to work. But when you're balancing a phone in your hand and trying to make sure that it stays focused on the screen, it can affect your swing. I can maybe not be overlapping a bit, and so please take that into account when you're watching this, that I am trying to manage all of this in one go. Now, hear those little pops and crackles. That's the sort of thing I was saying that I was getting as a sort of a little bit of a feedback from the machine. She's chattering a bit. I have just ground balanced her, so it shouldn't be that our ground balance is out. This is just the sensitivity getting to a part of the field where it's not so happy. And I have found in this field, some places I can have full sensitivity, some places I have to drop down to 6. See all these little numbers that you're getting? I'm getting numbers on the screen. That's not actually targets. That's just, it's falsing on the grass and the stubble that's sticking up. So in that case, you know, if that was bothering you, you would just drop the sensitivity one. For me, I like to hear her chatter. It tells me she's working hard to... Sorry about that. I'm trying to hold on to this and not doing a very good job. It just tells me that she's working hard and she's listening to all the things that are going on in the soil. So what I'll do is I'll drop down sensitivity just down 1. That's the middle bottom arrow. See? All that quiet. Now it's quiet. You won't lose any signals with that. But it's interesting because, as I said, I have done quite a few passes already, and I've been in 7, and I've had no issues whatsoever. Now as I'm coming down the slope a bit, well, you heard the way that she was starting to chatter, and that's just so okay. Well, we'll just turn the sensitivity down just a bit. It's not showing up as mineralized on the coil. It just could be that there's, as you can see in with the topping, there's stubble in the field. That stubble just there. And you bump it. You brush the grass, and just sometimes she just doesn't like the way that the particular land lies, in my experience. And sometimes she'll say, yeah, okay, this field's good. I'll take this one at 7. And sometimes she'll say, nah, I'm not having it. Put me in 5, put me in 6. And you just listen to her. So... But you can hear how quiet, if I would just shut up talking, you can hear how quiet. Oh, now that's something. But again, that's coming in very spitty, very sort of chopped up sounding. It's quite a low number, 11, 12. So what we'll do is we'll dig this one up. Well, let's pinpoint it first. So that right there, and that is absolutely solid. So we'll come back off of it. Push the pinpoint button. Whoa, listen to that. That ain't nowhere near. That is the center. Let go. Now I'm going to show you. I'm way back here. Push the pinpoint button. That is fussing before I get anywhere near it, and the target's up here. So I will dig that up for you so you can see what it is, but according to Terry's technique, that is going to be big iron or aluminium. Let's have a look. Well, there we go. All I've done is flip the clod over, and it's apparent exactly what this is. One little diddy horseshoe. Very, very round. I wonder if that's a mule shoe. That's quite round for a horse, isn't it? Those that know these sort of things, please tell me. But definitely iron. That's what we were hearing. I will check the hole, but quite confident that has absolutely worked a treat. Okay, folks, I've come back to that signal that we found before, which is just here. Weird jumpy around thing. Okay, but let's pinpoint it. There, that is the center. Let go, come right back, come in. We're on that before it's starting to sound. So, I don't know. Let's check this one out. Okay, so that one was a modern screw that was just right up here in the top level in the grass. So again, I don't know if it's one of these like long things that it has trouble if you come at it this way, if you're picking it up out with where you think the center is. But I shall ask Terry for comments. I'll put them in here. And I will again hole and see if there's anything else to be found. Okay, this is us back to that first signal I found when we first began walking. Let's see if I can pick it up. It was a sort of 11, 12 it was coming in at. But it was very sort of iffy to catch. But what I've done is I have pinpointed it. It's right there. I've come away from it. And it's screaming before I ever get near it. So I'm sure this is iron. I think that technique has just told us this is iron. I'd pick it up so that we can see. Right. And she is iron. She's kind of cool iron. She's an old file, but she's definitely iron. So that absolutely worked a treat on that occasion. And I want you to show you guys just how much I love you, that I'm taking this time that I get to come metal detecting, which I have to fight for with my family, to come and make these videos for you and try these techniques out, because that's my husband over there with his Knox 800. And you've been hearing him squeal in the background in all of these videos as he's finding signals over there. That tree line is the path, the old trackway, and I bet he's over there finding all the Viking gold and all the hammered silvers and all the fantastic, wonderful goodies that are in this field, while I keep stopping and digging up iron so that we can see that's what it is. So I just want you to know that's how much I love you guys, and that I want to help. So let's go and try to find a good signal of our own before that nasty Knox gets them all. Right, so Mr. Smarty Pants Knox user, who's over there stealing all the good signals while I'm teaching these fine people how to do a new technique and digging up iron to show what it's like.
Such a scoundrel.
And we can hear you over there bleeping and carrying on with all those signals you're finding by that trackway. What have you found?
What have I found? It's actually been, well, the easiest thing for me to get to initially is a bit in here, which, right, that's two bits of rubbish. It's like a hinge and something like that, so that's that.
Okay.
But actually no, I should have gone into the other one there. That.
Oh, oh, how odd. Is that like, well, there would have been three. You can see there's one missing.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's it. Part of me just says horse, because they have all those sort of like things on them.
Yeah, not normally
but
jewelry things
that
like that though.
Must be a furniture decoration.
Yeah.
Right, those of you that know these things, please tell us, what is this very cool thing? And if we find out, I'll put it up in the text underneath.
Right.
That's cool. See, I told you, he's been over there finding all the coins while we've been trying to practice stuff.
Got a button.
He's got a button. What kind of button has he got?
Nothing much of any interest.
He has a Tomback button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an old one though.
It's an old Tomback button, it is, yeah. So we're talking, you know, late 1700s, early 1800s?
Yep, I would say so.
Very cool, okay. And
A coin.
And a coin. See, told you.
It's a George V. You can't see much on it.
Okay.
And we have a spray.
The size of that's a halfpenny, isn't it? That big old beast. So, can't see any dates. Well,
No,
there's the date, 1914.
There you go. Because he
It's right
came
there.
to the throne in 1910. Is that right?
I have no idea, but I can see 1914 on the bottom of that coin, so
Yeah.
it's definitely 1914.
1910 to 1936, I think.
I'm very impressed.
Mm.
I know my florin's in 1933, and it's him, so he was there in 1933.
Yeah, if you actually catch it right. Can you see?
Oh yes, yeah, I can see him. Hopefully they can see him. Yeah, we can see his profile.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
So
that's all your treasures from along the trackway.
yes, from here. Yes. Yeah.
Very cool. Right. Well, I'm just going to show him what we found, and then we'll get back to it.